Wednesday, October 23rd edition of the Carolina Weather Video. I'm meteorologist Matthew East here with you. Well, there was a look at Banner Elk. Looks like there it goes. The camera temporarily went out there, but the colder air already beginning to plunge back into the mountains. The temperature there in Banner Elk is 35, and there will even be some snowflakes in the mountains coming up. I'll talk more about that in just a second. Let's take a peek at our highs yesterday. It was not a bad day. Highs in the 60s to low 70s in much of the region. 67 in Greensboro and Fayetteville. 70 degrees in Charlotte yesterday. 60 up in Boone. Now currently the mountains beginning to get back into some of that cooler air. But a lot of 50s and low 60s elsewhere across the Piedmont, Sandhills, the coast. It's not a bad morning. There's been a few showers out there in some areas, most notably around eastern parts of the Triad region over toward Chapel Hill, but that's about it. Everybody else is pretty quiet. Notice the skies cleared back in the foothills, allowing temperatures to cool a little bit more back that way. Now off to the northwest, some snow even flying in parts of Indiana and Ohio, just on the north side of a low pressure that's centered at the moment not too far from Cincinnati. And that is the system that's going to kind of buckle the shot of cold air on in here. There's your temperatures across the region. These are 5:30 temperatures, but an expanse of pretty chilly air over the plains, the Great Lakes, the Ohio Valley, and up into Canada, and that is about to surge into the eastern parts of the country. So here's the weather setup for us today. This secondary front moving through. It's going to be a breezy day. I'll show you the winds in just a moment, but notice up in the mountains a little bit of snow actually kicking in as that cold air plunges into the region, and then just an expansive, chilly air mass all across the eastern United States as we go through tomorrow, Friday, and Saturday as well. Now, in terms of the winds, again, it's going to be pretty breezy as we go through this afternoon. Some Piedmont wind gusts could exceed 25 or 30 miles per hour, and even higher winds up in the mountains. And that'll usher in this colder air. Cold enough that we have frost advisories in effect for much of the region as a whole as we head on into tonight and Thursday morning. And you have all the upstate, much of the Piedmont in a frost advisory, and much of North Georgia and East Tennessee included in those frost advisories coming up for tonight into Thursday morning. Now, I mentioned some mountain snow. A little hit of some snow in the mountains of West Virginia and some snowflakes in the mountains of North Carolina and Virginia this afternoon. And then as the secondary little disturbance moves in, could be another quick shot of some snowflakes coming up Thursday night into early Friday morning. And then our coldest morning is probably going to be Saturday morning when we have that area of high pressure directly overhead here across the Carolinas. And that's when we could see a lot of sub-freezing temperatures in the Piedmont. So it still looks like Saturday morning is our coldest morning. I'll show you some model data in just a second. Very quickly out in the Atlantic Ocean, that is Lorenzo. Again, it's out in the middle of nowhere. And this will probably weaken over the next couple of days, and we'll just be out there in the open waters. So here's a peek at your upper air chart off the European model today. Sharp trough diving into the eastern part of the country, and embedded within this trough you have little impulses, and each of those that swings through is what will give the mountains an opportunity for just a little bit of snow. Another little impulse moving through by Friday morning, and that's going to mean some cold temperatures. And is what it looks like on the surface. Big Arctic high pressure building through the Tennessee and Ohio valleys Friday, and then settling right overhead in the Carolinas Friday night into Saturday morning, giving us that cold morning. Now next week, kind of interesting, that's what the European model looks like. The models are in agreement. There'll be a potent piece of energy move across the southern part of the country. Now the European cuts this off more than some other modeling does. But let me show you what it looks like here on the European and the GFS next week. This is Thanksgiving. Let me try that again. This is Halloween morning, next Thursday morning on the GFS. So, the system is there on both models, but it's being handled a little bit differently between the two models, as you might expect. And the result on the GFS is severe weather setup for parts of the Tennessee and maybe Ohio valleys and the southeast, lower Mississippi valleys, again, next Thursday. So that's something to keep an eye on. Could be a pretty dynamic system roll through the eastern part of the country and the central part of the country as we get into around Thursday of next week. All right, that's it for today's edition of the video. Thank you for watching. Have a wonderful day, and God bless.